Neon Genesis Evangelion is one of the most influential anime series of all time, and for me, it had a huge impact on ways I think about certain things. I think the show Evangelion means something different to everybody, and to me, it means many things, but one of the main takeaways for me was learning to love yourself, even the darkest parts of you, basically accepting yourself. As Shinji says in the show,
I am me. I want to be myself. I want to continue existing in this world. My life is worth living here.
this quote just sticks with me. Shinji is one of those characters that I can just relate to his struggles. He reminds me a lot of myself, and this quote is a moment where Shinji comes to terms with who he is somewhat, in a way where he's not running away from it anymore. And this resonates with me deeply, a moment of self-reflection, of realization, of acceptance of even the darkest parts of oneself, the parts that he himself hates. It's shown throughout the show that Shinji has a lot of self-hate tendencies, which I relate to, because for a long time I hated who I was. Until one day, I finally was able to somewhat move past it. The day that I decided to stop running and confront everything going on in my head. The day that I feel I finally somewhat overcame all of it. To do that, I had to accept myself. And self-acceptance is still something I struggle with a lot. Because deep down, I don't love some parts of me. And I wish I could just rid their existence. But to find true love for myself, I have to accept those parts. To learn to live a life worth living by loving myself, I just had to confront my demons and fight them. The demons being my self-conscious thoughts, my anxiety, my depression, and my underlying self-hatred. All things that Shinji battles with throughout the show. I eventually somewhat overcame a lot of my demons. I am in a much better mental state than I was a few years back. And this show really made me reflect on all of the things I had moved past in a good way. It made me reflect on all the progress I've made and also the things I messed up along the way that I can still fix. I really wish I would have discovered this series earlier on because it would have definitely comforted me a couple years ago. Because back then I thought I was completely alone with these thoughts. But that brings me to the next part of what Evangelion means to me. For a long time, I guess I felt alone. Like no one else could ever possibly understand the complexities of what I was going through. Self-hatred, the self-denial. I knew that there were other people that felt the same way I did, but I could not understand just what that meant. I still felt alone. It wasn't like I had no people surrounding me. It wasn't like nobody was supporting me. I just felt alone. I know a lot of you out there may be able to relate to that. This show alone shows how many people out there are struggling with similar things. I mean, anyone that feels alone out there, just know that you are not alone. And there are many people with the same thoughts you are experiencing. No matter what you may think, you are not alone. Neon Genesis really put certain things about my life into perspective for me and shed a new light on past events. It really is an amazing show. And if you haven't watched it, I don't know why not. I definitely recommend it. I know I'm not alone either, since there are so many fans that feel similarly about this show. Oh, and also, remember to